What's up everyone, it's Random Anime Reviewer, and you probably already knew that, but today we have a special video, a fan recommendation commented on my last video. So, Erased is a surprisingly lighthearted anime with a dark plot and subtext. It's immediately obvious that there was a focus on creating a connection with the characters, which makes you feel invested in the story. This was, once again, a fan recommendation, and I hope to be able to do more of these in the future, so comment what you want me to review next. Of course, I will still be doing the random anime reviews, but if something strikes my eye, of course, I'll take a look at it. Now, without further ado, hit him with that intro. Erased is a story that predicates its plot on reversing tragedies and preventing them in the first place. Endowed with this power is Fujinama Satoru, who starts out lacking courage and work rate to achieve what he wants, settling for a job delivering pizzas. He lives an isolated life, but has a special power which allows him to temporarily go back in time, usually for a few minutes, to stop events of people dying. They don't really explain how this works at all, but we'll go with it. Anyway, he's framed for a murder, and with no evidence against him whatsoever other than being seen where the crime occurred in absolute shock, he runs away from the police, immediately overcoming the grief somehow. This triggers his ability, which he has no control over, taking him back to a child but retaining his 29-year-old mind. He remembers the death of a classmate that started what seemed to be a series of unresolved murders and decides that stopping it is the key to changing the future. To change the future, he works with his childhood friends to solve the mystery. The mystery to be solved is the death of Hinazuki Kayo, who is the child that he works to save. Hinazuki is a child matured by abuse and poverty. Essentially, she is a nobody who is disliked for reasons she can't control and is unable to escape her devastating reality. Her disappearance is not something that would be looked into, and likewise her death could be attributed to different factors. This was the start of systematically targeting the most vulnerable people who would most easily be killed without being caught. Katagiri Airi doesn't have a developed reason to trust Satoru in the anime, sadly, but it is developed in the manga. A co-worker who is, for some reason, the person they decided is the implied romantic interest even though she's 17. I mean, they could make her 18 to 20 or something. Anyway, she helps Fujinuma escape from the police and takes a quick cameo at the end, which doesn't make much sense since she wasn't really that developed in the anime, but in the manga it would make sense and it's in line with it. Now, talking about the anime itself, it's a doozy. On one hand, we have some great, well thought out messages and subplots, but then we also have many occurrences of breaks in continuity and plot holes. I will not point them out because if you choose to watch this, I would rather you miss it because it makes it much more enjoyable. They are present, but they don't really have a huge impact on the story, so it's not a big deal if they're missed. Animation-wise, it is on a similar track, with some scenes being absolutely amazing and cinematic, and some that are just very bland and lacking a bit of effort. Its soundtrack was hardly noticeable in a good way, relaxing or amping up tension. One thing that's done quite often is the use of a cliffhanger at the end of every episode. It does start becoming desensitized after a bit, but I kid you not, I finished this series in a one-day binge. Yeah, I liked some of the key messages that were emphasized as well. One of those messages was the highlighting of the huge problem of the justice systems, which do not take responsibility for confirmation bias and assume guilt upon circumstantial events rather than evidence. Japan is especially connected as it has an unreal conviction rate. If you enter a Japanese court, you are almost guaranteed to be convicted. Obviously, it's meant as a way to control the public, scaring them away from committing crimes, but this can backfire dramatically when someone uses it to their advantage, as seen in this anime. decades were spent by an innocent man purely upon the fact that he allegedly spoke to a child 3 times. Imagine seeing a child fall, then helping them, only for it to be used as a false form of evidence in your conviction. In recent years, the judicial systems in even countries which seem to have fair trials show clear patterns of bias and discrimination that not only disproportionately affect the lives of the innocent, but the lives of the guilty as they serve longer sentences for the same crimes. Of course, humans are not perfect, and mistakes will be made understandably, but it remains our responsibility to work towards identifying and eliminating those errors of inequities to provide a truly just and fair environment for all. This coincides with the next point of trust. Maintaining the trust you have for people you care about, even when they are accused of something, is also a reoccurring theme. It furthers the narrative of innocent until proven guilty. Rumors about people without any evidence is common, and there are times where we may not believe the victim because they can't prove otherwise. This is inherently flawed and common in every society. People who we may have known for years have their reputations damaged by illegitimate accusations. That leaves you to make a decision in your future interactions with that person. In Erased, not trusting the person was always the mistake. Sticking by those who you believe in gives them a ray of hope, someone in their corner, which could mean everything for them and allow them to strive through the adversity, proving their character. But there is always the possibility that there are monsters around us who hide their true selves. Uncommon that people fear the risk of defending someone who they think they know, but may be completely different and hiding their true identity. Of course, if you know someone for many years, it is most likely that they're telling the truth. A final thing that they not so subtly showed is that being a superhero doesn't mean you have to be exceptional. It means having courage. Like the courage to smash that like button. Alright, the mantra of the show is to have courage, to stand up for what you believe in and to pursue your dreams. Surprisingly, Satoru has courage, apparently right from the start, when it comes to saving others, even putting his own life at risk, but lacks the courage to pursue his own dreams. It mirrors how we push those around us to work hard through challenges, but are much less willing when it's us who have to take that risk. If it is what you want, and you have a chance, always go for it, because in most cases, you won't lose anything if it doesn't pay off. You'll just be back at square one, ready to try again. One thing I was looking forward to delving into were the ideology and theory behind the killer. The killer was well thought out, and even though they were predictable, I was surprised that they were so underdeveloped. It didn't surprise me in the slightest, but I also had no understanding of how they came to this part of their life. The mystery part of this thriller was weak since they did not have very many suspects in the first place. As for how they moved the plot, the running gag of Satoru somehow forgetting he is a 29-year-old to release tension, as well as an isekai-esque storyline, doesn't make for an ideal progress of the story, but functions well enough. However, while everything is good, the ending is a letdown, and quite a big one at that. It was not nearly as well thought out as the rest of the story, and the reasons for that is that it deviates significantly from the manga. Sadly, very important plot points were skipped or changed, making for a sloppy ending that didn't make tons of sense except for maybe the last scene of the reunion of the friends. Additionally, the motivations of the killer were never revealed or explained, which made it unsatisfying. That said, it's still worth the watch, but an option, if you want the best non-manga experience, is watching the anime for everything until the return to normal time, and then watching the finale on the live-action Netflix show, which shows the ending closely to the manga, but fails creating a connection with the characters since so much screen time is devoted to the finale. You could watch both completely since they end differently, but I would start with the anime first. This is a tough one to score because all the slight mistakes and the finale add up, but I feel that this one is a light 7 to a strong 6 and worth the watch, especially if you combine the Netflix live action and the anime versions. The Netflix version focuses on other character backstories that are dark and focuses on things different from the anime. The anime handles these undertones exceptionally well as creates a connection that makes you feel so many feelings for the characters and really feel how terrible the conditions are, feel how happy they are. It really does that well. So with that, thank you for watching as always. I appreciate it. Hit the like button, subscribe, and let me know what you think about Erased in the comments. I'd be happy to hear what you guys think as well. This has been another review by Random Anime Reviewer. Next week we're going to get back to a random anime review. So with that, this is Random Anime Reviewer signing off. Zoop!